Figured I'd give you a little different angle of this pond. There's an osprey right there, and there's a heron down over here, hardly seen. Anyway, I wanted to tell my father's Oakanogan story because he was very terrified of cryptids, and he was a little worried about Jin because she didn't look like Uncle Ong. He accepted Uncle Ong, and Uncle Ong introduced him to Badger Man and Mole Man, and those were the extent of the cryptids that my father accepted and would, hang out with and not be paranoid about. So in 1919, his parents, when he was 2, moved to the Okanagan to trap. So the first 3-4 years were fine, but the last 6-8 months was not good. They had placed their cabin in 50 miles from the end of the nearest railroad track. So it was 2 days ride, 3 if you were, with cart, horse, anything like that. And they would run their trap lines like north-south or east-west, so that their house was diametrically, their cabin was diametrically in the middle, so they could either run one or the other. So, his mother would take one end and his father would take the other end of the trap line. And he'd stay with his father because his father was concentrating on smaller animals, mink and beaver, that sort of thing. His mother trapped bear, cougar, and wolf, so the kid went with Dad. Well, one of the times she was expanding her trap line north, she ran into a trap herself. She ran into a Gugwe trap. It's an arrow pit trap, and it shot a spike through her pelvic bone and broke it. So she ended up getting surrounded by the things that had trapped her, and she set off 2 warning, two shots for signal for help, because one shot, you couldn't rely on that as a signal for help, and they didn't want to waste a bullet for 3, so it was always 2. So she did a double shot, signal for help. So it took about an hour for her husband to get to her. And when he found her, she was in a clearing with approximately 18 various types of red bone people around her. And she had been firing a shot every 5 to 7 minutes just to try to keep them away, but she had not shot any one of them. And the reason why is the natives had already warned them about them being in the area and had already mentioned do not kill them because they'll attack in mass. So she would shoot and scare them away. They'd come back. She'd shoot, scare them away. Meantime, she's laying there on the ground in the snow, because this happened in first week of December, with a 3-foot-long arrow stuck through the lower part of her body. And she was terrified to remove it because she didn't want to bleed out. Her husband arrived and found her in that condition. I'll tell more later.